Welcome. This is my Arduino project that I've been recently working on. It's a game that's comparable to Whack-A-Mole, however the aim of this game is to react as quickly as possible to the lights appearing. It's quite simple to use. You press these buttons based on if the light in front of it is active or not. I'll quickly show you now how it works. So the light appears, I've pressed the button. Right now it's relatively easy to play because it's quite slow. However, as time goes on, the time it takes for these LEDs to light up and how long you have to press a button is reduced dramatically. So as you might start seeing now, it's getting a little bit faster. And this will continue to progress until the player ends the game. So when I make too many mistakes, the game will end. On the serial monitor, you can now see your best time, and you can also see how many buttons you correctly pressed. Okay, so how this works is the button will be checked in the code if it's being pressed, and based on what button is being pressed, it will check what LED is also lit. If the button is pressed with the correct LED, it will award the player their points and record how long it took them to press the button after the light was lit. If you press the wrong button, however, it will reduce the percentile value, which, when below 40, will end the game. When you answer correctly, I forgot to mention, it ups this percentile value to keep you in play. I use this system as, well, I thought it would be a bit different compared to if you press the wrong button and the game will end. And I also kind of think it's more fair as you're playing when it's getting a lot faster. One simple mistake is quite annoying because you can't get back to that level of challenge that quickly. So you can continue to play. However, you make too many mistakes where you're actually having struggle, it will then end the game, which I think is a bit more fair. Okay, so coming on to the code. First of all, we set the correct interface type for our pins. So for the buttons, we need to read from them, so they're inputs. For the LEDs, they are outputs, as we need to set high or low values to turn them on and off. I also give a little message here to notify the player on how to start the game. Okay, so the first thing we do is check the player's performance. If the performance is still good, we don't do this, and we'll carry on and do the game loop. However, if it's dropped below than 10%, we call a function called initialize, which basically will reset the game, and it'll also print out the player's scores. Okay, so first thing we do when the game is running is we call this function called checklight. Checklight checks if we need a new light. If that's true, we will turn the current LED off. We'll reduce the timer, which is the LED delay, the time between the LEDs showing. We also check it's not below 300 for an issue I'll talk more about in a second. We also set a new LED to a random number between 9 and 13, which is 9, 10, 11, or 12. We run that timer that we just set up here. We turn the new LED on and notify that we no longer need new light as we're waiting for player input. Okay, so going back to the main body of the loop, we first of all, more importantly, set the score of the player by itself +1. We then notify that we need a new LED. We then reduce the timer by a random number between 10 and 20. We reset a timer to count up to these timers. And we do that delay that I just mentioned. Okay, so this delay basically has fixed an issue that I was encountering, where when you're pressing a button, it will trigger multiple times, as it's not actually being released in one process cycle. So this delay gives the player time to remove their finger from the button. I would like to improve on this in the future. However, I'm currently unable to think of a better way of doing this, though it will be done next.